Ah, at the
Right.
front. So
Yeah,
that's
in front.
Arjun.
Yeah. Arjun,
This is Krishna.
Krishna.
Ah, look at him. That's him. That's the big boss. Today we're going to talk about Cambodia, which is one of my favorite countries, and their flag is up there for a reason. So let's find out more about Cambodia. Cambodia is right here on the map, as you can see, a country in Southeast Asia. It belongs to those ancient lands which had been Indianized since a long time. They have gone through a process of Indianization, which is at least 2,000 years old. So according to historical records, since 2000 years, there have been signs of Indian culture, Indian traditions, Indian languages, all these things being present in Southeast Asia, including Cambodia. So let's just jump straight into the history of Cambodia, and we'll start with the Khmer Empire. Basically Hindus, they worshipped Lord Shiva, they worshipped Lord Vishnu, they spoke Sanskrit, they celebrated Indian festivals, they wore Indian dresses, and in fact their land at that time, it used to be called Kambodj Desh. And this is why Cambodia today is named Kampuchea in their own native language, and from Kampuchea it ended up being named Cambodia in English. So the most famous thing about the Khmer Empire, in fact the most famous thing about Cambodia today, is possibly the temple Angkor Wat. Now this temple was built in the 12th century by the king called Suryavarman II. Now this temple is absolutely epic. According to the Guinness World of Records, it is still the biggest religious structure in the whole world. Like, it's unbelievable, it's huge.
Ancient Angkor was the capital city of the mighty Khmer Empire. For 6 centuries, this military superpower conquered and controlled a vast kingdom in Southeast Asia. Then, just as Europe was entering the Renaissance, this thriving 3,000... The crown jewel of the whole site is the 800-year-old Angkor Wat. The temple complex is a literal depiction of Hindu cosmology carved in stone.
I visited Cambodia in 2022, and I'm going to tell you what I saw on my visit to this temple. So according to history, or according to historians, it took about 35 years to build this whole temple. That means the temple structure itself, the walls surrounding the temple, the moat outside the temple, everything. So once you get to Angkor Wat, you see that the entrance ways to this temple are decorated with nagas, which means serpent in Sanskrit. Moat is basically like a waterway which surrounds castles and other structures normally. The incredible thing about this moat is that it's between 1.5 and 1.3 kilometers long. It is about 150 to 200 meters wide, and it has a depth of almost 4 meters. And all of this was done by hand. All of this handmade. People used to dig in the earth and create this moat. Now it's easy to just believe that it was handmade, but once you actually get to this place, you see how massive the structure is, and it seems absolutely impossible how people could have dug up such a huge area. So this temple was made for Lord Vishnu, and that's why it was named Parama Vishnu Lok. And once you get inside the main temple structure, you basically have 4 walls of the temple. Now each wall is telling a different story.
Angkor Wat's walls are covered with 12,900 square feet of bas-relief carvings. Executed with great skill and artistic sophistication, the reliefs are considered a masterpiece in their own right. Even the detailed lintels at the top of the walls are carved from the same stone blocks. Each artist would cut away layers of the wall and then carve the reliefs directly into the stone. Hundreds of highly skilled carvers worked side by side to complete. In the North Gallery, this famous relief, called the Battle of Kurukshetra, depicts an ancient combat scene from Indian history retold in the epic work, the Mahabharata. Continuing to the East Side Gallery, a visitor finds perhaps the most famous and revered of all the reliefs, the churning of the Sea of Milk. It depicts Vishnu and Devas, the benevolent Hindu gods, and the Asuras, the evil gods, all pulling on a great snake to churn the cosmic sea in search of eternal life. Their struggle released countless deities, including the beautiful nymphs called Apsaras. In the northern gallery is a battle of the gods and demons. This epic battle scene illustrates the pantheon of 21 Hindu gods battling alongside human warriors. Led by Vishnu, the gods of good defeat the evil gods. And as Suryavarma II was considered an earthly avatar of Vishnu, the scene celebrates his reign as well.
I know these stories from my childhood, but it was incredible to see wall carvings of Mahabharata and Ramayana in a country thousands of kilometers away from India, and it just shows how much ancient Indian culture has impacted these lands outside India, and Indians don't even know this. So have a look at this video from Angkor Wat where I was asking the guide to explain me the wall carvings. This is a scene from the Mahabharata, the Mahabharata wall basically, and he is explaining where Lord Krishna is in the wall carving. Have a look at this video.
Here's Arjuna. The fighting an arrow, 1 times 3 arrows. Yeah? And in front of Arjuna, Krishna, the charioteer, with the 4 arms.
Where is Krishna?
Krishna here, the charioteer.
Where is he?
With the
At the front. So that's Arjun?
Yeah, Arjun.
This is Krishna.
Krishna.
That's him. That's a big boss. In fact, the ancient Indian traditions and the ancient Indian culture not just influenced Cambodia culturally, but also its language, because the modern Cambodian alphabet is derived from India. So the Indian writing system helped create the first Cambodian writing system, and the Hindi K, K, G alphabet is or has been implemented directly in the Cambodian alphabet. Have a look at this video about my tour guide telling me this. That's how you call the letter in Cambodian?
Yeah, right.
So,
and I however meet Tamil people, they call the same. Yeah. Even another name that we call the grandfather also the same. Tamil they call Tata for the grandfather, but Cambodian people we call Ta. Yeah.
Yeah, in Hindi it's K, K, G.
Yeah, right.
That's the alphabet. So in Cambodian it's Ko, Ko, Go.
Yeah, Ko.
So you got the alphabet from India.
Alphabet.
It came from India.
Yeah, from India.
Wow. So an interesting thing happened towards the end of the 12th century, because then the king Jayavarman VII came to power. Now Jayavarman converted to Buddhism, and he decided that this temple should be changed to a Buddhist temple. So basically a lot of statues of Buddha were installed inside the temple, and at the center of the temple there used to be a statue of Lord Vishnu, because this was a Vishnu temple, and this statue was removed and replaced with a statue of Lord Buddha. But interestingly, the statue of Lord Vishnu was not completely removed or destroyed. Instead, it was placed at the entrance of the temple. So it was removed from the center and placed at the entrance, where it still stands till date, and still there is a caretaker and a small prayer ceremony that goes on. Cambodia today is a Buddhist country, but this ancient temple, which used to be originally a Hindu temple, plays a huge role in the Cambodian identity and in the Cambodian culture. In fact, if you look closely, it's right there on their national flag. Yes, you heard that right. They put a building on their national flag. They're the only country in the world which has put a building at the center of their national flag. So this is what this building and this temple means to Cambodia. A temple of Lord Vishnu on the flag of a country thousands of kilometers away from India. Angkor Wat today is a huge stream of revenue because tourists from all over the world, including me, come to visit Cambodia and come to visit Angkor Wat. They want to see this special place, this special temple. And the best thing is that it's not just Angkor Wat, it's the most famous temple, but there are also many other temples nearby dedicated to different gods, to Shiva, to Lord Rama. For example, I went to this temple called Bantai Srey, but also there's a special place called Kabal Speen, which is about half an hour from Angkor Wat, and it's also called the place or the river of 1,000 lingams. So what you basically see here is you have a stream of water and there are lingams in the ground, shivlings, okay, shivlings in the ground, thousands of them. And because the water is so clear, you can actually see those shivlings on the waterbed. Not just Shiva and Vishnu who are famous, even Lord Hanuman is really famous. Everybody knows Hanuman, who Hanuman is. In fact, there's even a beer brand called Hanuman. Not even kidding, this is actually true. There's a beer brand named after Lord Hanuman. And don't worry, you know, for devotees of Lord Vishnu, there is also Angkor beer. Cambodia follows the policy of pray and drink. Come and pray to your God and drink to your God, because why not? If I had to summarize my Cambodia trip, I would say that it is, or it used to be, an extremely Indianized country, an extremely Indianized kingdom, and it still retains its Indian roots till date. Cambodians are not afraid, they're not embarrassed, they don't feel bad that their culture has been predominantly originally imported from a different country. In fact, they see this as their own culture now. They see this as a civilization. They don't see this as a Hindu religion which influenced Cambodia, but they see this as an ancient Indian civilization which impacted Cambodia and which was and still is an important part of Cambodian culture. And all Cambodians agree with this, whether you're Buddhist, you're Muslim or Christians. Nobody has a problem that there's a Vishnu temple on the flag of this country. These are things which would be very impossible on the Indian mainland itself. In India, this is not seen as the ancient Indian civilization which impacted not just India but also all of Asia, but it's seen as a religion instead. And this narrow-minded thinking is the reason why this culture does not get appreciated properly. That's it for today. If you want to know more about Angkor Wat or about Cambodia, just search on Google or on YouTube. There are tons of videos about this amazing temple, and they can really explain this in depth, how this temple was made, how this Khmer civilization used to exist, and how extremely civilized it was. Thank you guys, take care.